टर्न देने वाला है, थोड़ा सा फिर से यहाँ पर लौट आएंगे, अंदर जाएंगे, परफेक्ट।
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, and welcome to the Mythic Showdown Switch Stage Day 12. And onto the caster's desk. This is your Zewo. On my left side, it's Peachy. Right side, it's Ray. All three of us are wearing black today. What day is it today? Tuesday. Now let's just go for usually it's Wednesday that wears black, but it's Tuesday this time. But yes, already we are gonna be talking about the two matches of this. Two matches of today. The brackets, though, it is a 0-2 bracket, which means the losing team has to unfortunately say bye-bye to their journey. But well, let's hear our thoughts. Let's hear our casters' thoughts on it. Peachy and Ray, the teams, they are going to be battling it out quite well, or giving it their all. What do we have to say about it?
Interestingly enough, we are looking at 4 teams today. It's going to be In Heaven, Stepbros, Lafukabi, and Peak to Plummet. I wasn't expecting the second half to be there at the 0-2 brackets, but again, come on, they were facing such a good opponent, so the results were inevitable. But again, first match of the day, In Heavens versus Team Stepbros. Both of them are really especially for In Heavens, they are in underdogs. I am kind of curious to know how they will be performing given the fact that the meta has been changed and they've been playing a lot of comfort heroes. So will the comfort heroes right now will be in the favor of them or not? But for Stepbros, they are already up with the strategies no matter what.
Yeah, and honestly, no, there's nothing much to say, mainly considering the fact that obviously I would love to see their performance back again. It's been a while since I've seen them in action, but also the fact is that we recently had the new patch now dropped, and just like Peachy mentioned, a lot of teams will struggle to keep up the pace, and if you struggle, you're gonna fall down, and that will. I don't think that's gonna happen though, because they are adjusting, but not fast enough. Because the top teams, which have already qualified, which is Tartarus and LCF, they've already qualified for the 3-0 brackets and they're waiting for the other teams to catch up in the knockout stages after all. So I'm looking forward to how In Heaven and Stepbros, one underdog team and one well-known team from Mizoram, will face against each other. And until then, obviously, I think the teams will obviously take their time. Today we did start a little bit late. Maybe they also got notified a little bit late, Zivo. So before then, what do you think of the next match, Zivo? The Peak to Plummet versus Lafukabi. Both of these teams, I definitely think the fans weren't expecting to be on the extremely risky side, because this is a 0-2. A loss means no more chances.
Yeah. I definitely was not expecting either of the teams to have in this 0-2 bracket. I mean, they play really well. They have shown how good they can be, but I guess it's because they have been faced with stronger teams that they had to just make a, what do you call it, make a choice as to how they could have beaten them, and maybe they were lacking somewhere to the master plan to defeat the teams, unfortunately. But then again, it would be quite sad to see either of the teams leave. Peachy,
Absolutely.
what do you think about it though?
Again, a kind of inevitable match coming in from Lafukabi and Peak to Plummet. Wasn't expecting them to be against each other, but
Mhm.
we are getting the match. This will be the second half after this match, and to talk about a little bit more. It's going to be spicy. Three matches definitely, and I know because Peak to Plummet are no less in this season as well. Coming here at the Mythic Showdown season number 1, time by time they have proved why they are here, but again unfortunate circumstances onto their hands led them towards a 0-2 bracket. But let's see though, but let's talk about In Heavens and Stepbros though. Now that the match is up, it's going to be happening in just a few minutes. Will In Heaven struggle against Stepbros?
I think a little bit, definitely. But I honestly feel like the first matches have been very unpredictable in the Swiss stages, because a lot of times you'd see teams that have some high expectations for are actually really struggling, but then they make a reverse sweep, because the first match is more of like they hold back so their opposing teams expose their cards better, and that is obviously a game strategy, especially you gotta do if you're in a best of 3 series, because in best of 3 series it's a perfect 2-win scenario. Yes, it's a little bit different when it's BO5 and extremely different when it's a best of 7 series. In BO7 it's even more risky, but obviously that is for the finale. Right now we're in the Swiss stages where the matches are in best of 3 series, and I feel like a lot of these teams have been improving and strategizing their drafts and synergies better to make sure they sometimes hold back on the game number 1, do a clean reverse sweep, or some of the stronger teams like the Tartarus, they just like to go for the clean sweep. But tonight's matchup though, I am gonna be honest with you, I feel like it can be either way. Either one of the teams gets a clean sweep unexpectedly, or we would see a reverse sweep coming in as well. So, but it is also possible that we might just see a back and forth tug of war game where we might not know even who's the proper winner, and those matches are definitely the most intensive.
Certainly, those matches are what we look forward to when we are watching a tournament, because no one wants a one-sided match, right? It's usually where we like to see both the teams give their everything, take the force back away, take the control back from the team that is having the control, and then bounce back. That is something that we really enjoy. But as Ray said, right, the first match is really unpredictable with everything. Just as you said, seeing their cards out, seeing the team play the cards out. But well, talking about the first match, we are already in the drafting phase. Stepbros having the first pick in their hands, and already the Badang getting banned off right off the bat, Peachy.
Okay, let's put the emphasis on the elimination round. In Heaven and Stepbros are facing this obstacle where they have to get the game onto their hands and stay in the tournament, or pack up pull their bags off and just go try to dominate in another. But this time around, there's going to be no joke. The pressure is definitely high. Let's see. Lapu Lapu out of the way. In heavens this time around, will they be able to catch up with the pressure of Stepbros, given the fact that Stepbros really love to go in for those damage?
Absolutely, and we are also seeing the addition of the 1-1 over here. Let's see if the score settles in a 1-1 and we also see a 3-third game. Right, but overall, obviously the meta has been shifted a little bit. Some heroes have been favored. My Zushin still remains the top, guys. She has been nerfed, but guess what? Yesterday, I did won with the Zushin, and that makes a statement, all right? But jokes aside, though, we obviously have to focus on the current game, and that is this one. Game number 1 in Heaven versus Step Bros. And I'm really looking forward to what their strategies are. And I think we would definitely see a priority pick coming in for the hands into the meta, which has been shifted to perhaps back again to the XP or Assassin's Evo.
Yep, certainly. We do see, aside from assassins, right? The assassins they have been declining in rate quite a bit, except for the fighter assassins like Suyo and everything. Aside from those, I think the use of assassins has been decreased quite a lot because of the new meta shift, and mostly it focuses on EXP lanes and also the fighter jungles that we usually see. So definitely we are going to be seeing some changes in the bans up as well, like how we are seeing Lafu Lapu all together. But still, Florin being a viable ban, it does seem like Team Stebros, they are still aware of the potential of Florin, PG.
Oh, Florin, interesting. I really like the Florin band, given the fact that it's a support. Macheldam should be there, maybe from the in heavens if they are able to able to pick it up. But I feel like more than the Matella, the Fovia should be banned for dark.
Absolutely. I think Phobius is just still the perfect pick for the first. Honestly, you're safe. You have the macro control, especially for the Lord fights. He's chunky, so taking him down is hard. And you also eliminate the chances of those fast paced, dashing heroes that could possess a threat to obviously your back line or the flanking. So I feel like Phobius, especially considering there's Dark, should have been a ban, but In Heaven seems to have a different kind of a plan. They ban out the Xavier instead.
Ooh, the Xavier is quite a surprise ban, though. He is quite counterable, if I have to say. I feel like other heroes like the Phobias or maybe the other fighters still pose a bigger threat rather than, especially Kimi is also out there. They could have banned out the Kimi up as well, but I guess the Xavier is kind of a respect ban coming in from side of Team In Heaven. Now, with all the bans up, Team Stebros, it is their first pick. So, any guesses on what the teams might be going for?
It is definitely a dark pick. For me, the EXP lane should be prioritized as of now, but nah, that's not the case. Looks like I have been proven wrong. Stepbros going ahead with a Roger. Interestingly enough, this Roger can be a flex, can be put onto the gold as well. Since this is just a new meta and people are still experimenting, I want to see this Roger onto the jungle.
Yeah, I would honestly love that as well, but that would require a little bit of a risk factor, right? But at the same time, the gold lane is also a 50-50. Considering Roger is not exactly the most late game-ish hero, he excels at the early to mid part, so I feel like definitely they should be putting this guy on the jungle role, unless, of course, they have different plans. But I'm actually surprised they still have the Phobius open. In Heaven right now can prevent Dark from picking it up, or there's a high chance that Stebros will get it for themselves because Phobius even poses a threat to the Roger because Roger does have a few dashes.
Yep, certainly. The thing is, in Heaven, they are quite thinking it out a lot what they could go for pick. But no, they ditch out the Phobias, go for the Uranus this time. One strong contender in the EXP laner, making him quite hard to catch when he gets his items when it gets to the late damage phase, along with the Farsa, which would be helping out in quite zoning the teams quite a lot. I kind of feel like the Farsa is a really good pick here, but then again, we do not see the other heroes up yet. So, they might just have a counter for Farsa yet again, though.
Oh, let's see though. Uranus already on the list. I was expecting it, but oh, interestingly enough, there is a Sicilian. Long time no see into the Mythic Showdown. I want to see what kind of a potential that this Sicilian will be bringing in the match. But one last pick, I want to see something of a marksman maybe picked up, or maybe a Suyu. Suyu really works very well in this composition, but they need some tankiness and a setup for the Soyu to jump in and come back out safely.
Absolutely, and I think the Sicilian is in a odd spot. But to be true, to be fair, one thing is for sure that the Sicilian kind of is one of those mages that fares just decent enough against the Farsa, so I understand the reasoning. But the Uranus versus Yuzhong EXP lane matchup will definitely be a good one. But one thing is for sure, they both play different roles. Yu Zhong is more into that macro control, where he will try to go into the back lane to gather either one target, which is the Farsa, or maybe just regenerate his way and waste a little bit of time. Where Uranus, most of his thing is just wasting all of the resources on top of him and making a sweep escape.
Yep, certainly different roles, but they do contribute quite a lot towards the team fight in their own way. Now we have someone for the Farsa right here, the Yuzhong. Farsa has to be careful. The marksman up as well, which is going to be up in quite soon. But second banning phases is out here. And for the side of Team Stepbros, they do be lacking the roamer and also the goal lane perhaps altogether. But yes, given the possibility of Kalea getting picked out, she would be banned out quite fast from the side of Team in Heaven right there.
A little bit of a fast draft coming in. I am excited to see what kind of picks that would be coming in for the goal laner. Moscow out, 1-1 out. You're talking about the Beatrix can be there. Yesterday, I believe it was someone was there who was playing a Beatrix. Beautiful play coming in against an Erythel. I was casting that match. Oh my god, I forgot already.
It's okay, it's okay. You forget 1,000 things every day, and it was just one of them. It's completely fine. It's only human after all. But obviously, one thing is for sure that the Rogers buff. I feel like his buff is a little bit interesting one because most of his buff is basically reduction of the
Mhm.
force swing. Basically, force swing, ladies and gentlemen, is basically the lag of animation. Animations basically cause your character to stop for a while before you can attack again. And a lot of the buffs are actually force swing reduction. So actually, it's surprising
Yeah.
that Roger's weakness was just his animations blocking him out. But right now, he's obviously kind of back into the meta. So one thing is for sure that Roger mains need to understand that he got buffed in his animation speed. You're faster, but you're not exactly more stronger. Your defense is still nerfed, and your damage is still a slightly bit nerfed, which happened a few seasons ago. So they need to take that into account when they're facing off against much stronger targets. But I just wanted to point that out. But overall, the Granger is going to get picked. I honestly wanted to see a Lilia and Karita back again, but it still makes sense why the Farsa remains a strong force.
Can't argue with Farsa and her range and her zoning out capabilities all along. Can't forget her rotation speed as well because of her passive Wings by Wings out there. But oh my goodness, Kufra makes his entrance yet again. I'm getting quite, I was getting quite a bit worried for the gold laner, but it seems like they're going to be pushing pushing the Roger onto the gold because a lot of marksmen have been banned out and they just got the Granger in their hands. So potentially Roger is the best marksman that they can have as of now with his mobility up as well. So definitely last pick though, Shawhead, which means in heaven they are going for kind of a pick-off combo.
Oh, interesting. For In Heavens, the pick-off combo really works in their favor every single time. But addition of a Kufra in the enemy can hinder a little bit, given the fact that you are looking at a Joy who relies on dash rather than dealing damage with the basic attacks or even with the skills. She needs to be a little bit wary of this Kufra. But Albert, though, I want to see a Hayabusa how he can reach towards the Farsa in and out, because it's going to be a little bit of problem from the mid game to the late game. But early game, if he gets that snowball, it's gonna go crazy for the side of Stepbros, and let's go.
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the land of dawn. This is gonna be the last brackets of the Swiss stage round 3 0-2 bracket between Team in Heaven and Stepbros. The loser tonight will have to say bye-bye to the competition of Mythic Showdown Season 1. And right here in the Land of Dawn, let's see how this best of 3 series goes. This is basically an elimination round, right? Enter the casting desk is myself, Ray, and joining me again is, of course, this beautiful lady Peachy over here. And are you not excited to obviously be with me, Peachy? Not to cast this game, be with me.
It's a pleasure to have you every single time. I feel like our synergy is actually going in so good. So I want to see how much energy we bring this into the game. But I would also love to thank Zivo for being with us as the host. We'll see you after this match.
Absolutely. And overall, classic rotations, but nothing much. Oh, Finn. It reminds me of those memes, Finn, like how people say Finn.
Travis Scott.
Yeah. But this Finn means probably finish, but this is a Golden Roger against the Granger. So we'll have to see how it works out later on in the phases.
The power spike would be there into the hands of Spit, though. For him, it is the Granger you're talking about. Time by time, I do remember in Heaven playing around quite a few tournaments that I've been seeing around them, and for Spit, it's a very easy hero, but okay, good Greg though, that's so much damage. Wiki Shadow Kill dashes away right on time, and he will be moving away and not being the first blood.
That was a close call, almost got his boot stuck over there, but he was able to survive it, which was definitely something that they required, because after all, losing out his jungler right before the turtle fight, that is devastating.
Ooh, let's see though. There's no Uigi Shadow Kill for ASAP as of now. So the turtle would be a little bit slow process coming in for the side of Team Stepbros. But in Heaven, are they ready to strike back? Given the fact that Greg will be getting his electrifying beats very quickly, that is going to be a little bit of an advantage. But there is a push and pull for this turtle. Greg still trying to find out what he can do. Now I like Russ though. Look at him. He's just already present over the map, trying to take control. That's like 60% into their hands as of now.
60%, but 90% HP loss on the top lane. But let's focus. GRG inevitably meets his fate as he gets taken down, and the turtle will also get secured into the hands of none other than ASAP Kelly. Okay, Kelly. This is actually, I've realized this is my first time casting for Stepbros in Mythic Showdown. That is convenient timing. Convenient, but overall, that turtle steal was great. GRG not going good so far.
The one-man pickup is move might work for them, but I'm saying it's from the mid game to the late game, given the fact that the responsibilities will be shared on Spit. And okay, that's a jump on that, and X7 will be the one taking the Spit down. But wait a minute, Rust also admits that is trying to make sure he survives. He just makes his bouncing ball out of the way. Now that Team Stepbros are at the top lane, this is a exit point for In Heaven, or else they will be losing more what they have already lost. Look at that.
And I think Stepbros, they're obviously flow so far, it looks like they have the game in their pocket, but for how long, it's definitely the question, because we've seen a lot of teams. But just as I speak, Finn will probably get finished out. He was able to survive for a little bit more, but Sicilian's bat slash just takes him out.
3 kills already going down into the hands of Team Stepbros. Look at that. Now I'm curious to know, even though In Heaven, in theory, have the early game draft, yet they are not able to dish out the damage that they are supposed to. Early game Joy, early game Farsa. You're talking about Finn also can give up a very good setup, but Finn not getting the window of opportunity to make a setup is definitely a minus point. But I really like how Dark is all ready for Uranus. Like, he was expecting it, or they could have taken themselves as the first pick rather than going in for a Roger goal lane.
Yeah, this makes sense. Then wave management for both of them has been very 50-50, so that gives them a little bit of edge into the team fight for the side of In Heaven. Uranus is already there, but there comes the burst from Q on the far side, and looks like this is another turtle for SF Killier, and the price will immediately get paid as Spit will take him down, and Dark will ultimately fall in the hands of Spit as well. Spit looks like is in the form of redemption as he's taking down targets left and right. Roger escaping at the nick of time, though. The score sits at 4-3 as In Heaven looking to clap back.
Okay, look at that. In Heaven getting that little bit of a push is just so much important. But Kyoto this time he does have the feathered hairstrike. I want to see how they will be trying to rotate towards the top lane. You know, the whole scenario you're talking about, the whole situation has changed towards the EXP lane a lot, and yet the EXP lane's being neglected. Like both of the teams are really a little bit slow with the rotations, but they are very well managing with, you know, against a Kufra, against a Jawhead as well, which is crazy given the fact that one has to go in for the little bit of a team fight trying to tank down, but other has to give a set and has to die if he's just got amidst everything. Finn already at the top lane. There's Nino Kumar. I like how he changed his name, right? I do remember it was Nino Kumar. It's Nino Kun now.
Oh. Nino Kun. Okay.
Yep.
Nino Kun, better watch out. But no, Nino Kun is completely fine. And overall, looking forward to what he's going to do. Because, I mean, Uranus is right now, since he is able to gain his regeneration. Into the bottom lane. GRG and Hayabusa go for a 1-versus-1. And he does specialize, but GRG back again. There's a walking, the skedaddling left and right. And ultimately, Kyo trying to fight with the fire, gets his hand burnt a little bit into the mid lane. We also see some engages coming in. The Yuzong comes in with the Black Dragon and has to retreat back. The score still sits at 5-3, but that was an impressive play coming in from the Hayabusa, dodging, maneuvering, taking a target, but Spit might just fall prey because he's trying to go back, but look at the Roger goes in with the Lycan pounce, pouncing on top of the Granger and takes him down. Right now he's hungry for a little bit more. The Wolf wants the basically his prey, but he's not able to get it. Gets zoned out. Right now the turtle going for a little bit of exchange here and there.
Let's see though. The pressure is definitely high for both of the teams since the pressure, since the snowball is just shifting a little bit. But at the same time, so many knockups coming in from Nino Kun, he would be taken out. That's like 2 knockups you're talking about from Dark as well as the Kufra. Interestingly enough, once again, Turtle going down into the hands of Team Stepbros, and that is going to be the last Turtle in this game. Now, early game, it is over. You're talking about mid game, but wait a minute, GRG. That is just so brutal. 3 members onto you. No way.
I mean, that is honestly how you should be coordinating as a team, and Stepbros is doing really well at that. Basically, pick a target and make sure your whole team pounces on it, and that's what they have been doing. They took down Nino Kun like that because you cannot really regenerate, because look at them. They just take on one target, pounce on him, and take him down, going for the kill, because right now they're also going to take down the Spit. And next one might just be Nino Kun as well, but no, he does have the heals. But is the heals just enough to make him survive? Yes, it is. The Revitalize saves his life for a few seconds. GRG wants to go in, but he doesn't have enough damage. Only level 11. He's trying to catch up, but he's still quite far from SF Killier right now. Russ trying to provide a little bit of vision to his team, but I think they will definitely be okay and go back. The damage coming in from Roger is too much. Nino Kun overestimated his defense and underestimated the damage coming in from Roger.
Crazy game coming in, while Stepbros, it is probably going to be a easy game for them, taking over so much resources and now moving towards that inhibitor. Look at that, the passive has been already popped off. It's going to be a problem given the fact that Stepbros are now aware that they can put a pressure at the top lanes. Constantly clearing out the minions is going to help them to take down the top inhibitor at least. But wait a minute, Rust getting ready.
Has been destroyed. An enemy has been defeated. 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 An
Rust preparing himself to launch itself into the opposing team, trying to find an angle to go for another engage because he has been doing some banger runs into the bottom lane. Hayabusa as well, looking for a few targets to take down. And the Lord has spawned in, so I feel like they will disengage soon. But let's look at the mid lane. Looks like an engage is already up because Rust goes in. The next target is going to be Finn. Immediately getting taken down. Hayabusa already into the back ends, trying to flank the targets. He does go back. Not able to take down. He was close. Well, ultimately, he's able to force In Heaven into their bases as multiple of the holy blessings will get shredded out. The Lord is up as well. Oh, looks like they're still hungry for a little bit more. GRG better watch out because there's the Kufra with the bouncing ball. Nino Kun might be stuck over here. GRG survives with a nick of HP. And just as I speak, the Hayabusa also gets the Lord for himself.
There's only one possibility for In Heaven to take back the all the lost resources that they just lost. Is during the Lord when it pushes in, they have to give out a very good set. It all depends on Finn and Spit. Let's forget, he is trying to deal some damage, but he is getting caught. Yuzhong at the back lanes, you're talking about the Ugi shadow kill coming in for him. If the members were not on together, the damage would have transferred only onto him. It's going to be a problem. But
Rust getting a little bit stuck over here. Would have been taken, but his nick of the time flicker coming at clutch. And right now the Yuzong trying to initiate, finding an angle, but he's not able to do so because of course the protection of the turrets is still up, and that's what they're really trying to take over. Yuzong might better watch out, but Dark has enough sustenance. Hayabusa wants to go in, tries to find a target. Look at the damage. He just immediately bursts out KO. Level 15 over there. The XP advantage just clearly showing over the level 10 Farsa. And right now they have taken down the mid, taken down the bottom lane, and the top is also gonna fall quite soon. They pounce on GRG like he's basically a hot food in the winter, right? You love that food. But overall, looks like the next food that the Roger's gonna be taking down, the prey, is gonna be the Finn. Rust gets taken down, but at the price of getting few more kills as the whole team gets wiped out. Farsa does respawn in time, but he's not going to be able to survive because the Maniac will come in for the Wolf as they secure the game number 1.
What a game coming in. Oh my god. Team Stepbros, they took over they just done and dusted. And hello Zero, welcome back. Are you there with us?
Yep, glad to be back, Peachy. The game was so fast paced. I mean, they just ended at a 12-minute mark, and that is really fast considering the enhanced lore spawns at 18 minutes. Most games just go with plus 20 minutes, but Stepbros, they were really, really aggressive. Especially that, oh my god, the gold Roger just it just hit really hard for them.
This was clearly a game gold versus silvers. Come on, guys. The result is in front of you.
Okay, shots fired a little bit, but definitely I feel like the thing is that for the side of In Heaven, I just feel like their composition was a little bit all over the place. Hey, India number 69 Joy, that is good. GRG, keep it up. but I think their synergy, it was definitely off. Yeah, Peachy, go ahead.
I have seen GRG play these kind of heroes, but I feel like the Kufra was definitely a problem for them, and they gave away a lot of snowball. If the snowball was there onto their side, they could have done it, but Joy is something we don't like to see in the Land of Dawn anymore. I mean, you can pick up. There's no harm in that.
Yeah.
But if you pick up, you're going to have counters against you.
And what else was it? Overall, the composition, obviously, we don't exactly criticize the draft too much because the execution is what matters. We've seen very unorthodox compositions work out in the end because they had a plan overall. But it looks like In Heaven did not exactly have a plan. They went in with the heroes that they thought they were comfortable with because, of course, Granger, he's a comfort pick. GRG likes to play the Joy. That's a comfort pick. And Farsa is obviously also a comfort pick, as well as Farsa is good overall. But they picked up the Uranus without taking into consideration that there is no amount of crowd control. Like, who is supposed to give any form of initiation when Jawhead is basically your picked off hero? Jawhead's whole purpose is to make sure to pick up a target and take them down. Instead, they got backfired completely, and the other side was the one doing the same. So I feel like what they needed was a different kind of EXP laner, or if they wanted to go for Uranus, they needed a different mage with a ton of CC, or at least they needed an EXP laner with, or a roamer with a ton of CC. I feel like if you want to make something work, you better make sure the other stuff are also working together. A team is supposed to be like a clock. The bolts and everything, they need to spin together. One is too big, another is too small, you're going to crush each other. And the same thing will happen if their bolts are too small, you're not going to be spinning at all. So they need to make sure that their composition at least have some balance of everything, especially considering Stepbros had abundance of crowd control. With, we literally saw the Uranus getting knocked up 3 times.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that is what I was thinking as well, because in Heaven their composition, it was just a bit too much to take into, right? Because they were just having thoughts of their own. Their whole composition did not coordinate much well. There was absolutely, I would say, yeah, they were lacking CC quite a bit. They went towards the damage part a bit more. Stepbros, on the other hand, it was really balanced out. But, well, without further ado, we're going to be coming back to the second match of this match point being for the side of Team in Heaven. Stepbros leading with 1 point. And right off the bat, 1-1 once again banned out. This time, Uranus, though, they won't be giving it out. They won't be taking it for themselves. They're just going to be banning him out.
Overall, this is going to be game number 2, and let's see how this one goes around. Of course, Peachy, what do you think? Are we going to be seeing a first pick Roger again?
First pick, Roger. It may be into the hands of In Heaven, but again, as I have already mentioned, In Heaven loves to play around the comfort hero, and I haven't seen a Roger being a comfort into the hands of Spid. This time around, maybe something of a new hero could be there, or even a Granger once again could work very well for him. He just needs the space to carry the whole game, and I know he can do it. But Stepbros, though, Uranus out, Fanny out, you're talking about 1-1 as well. The next would be a Florian or probably the Matilda.
Florian, Matilda. Overall, I think okay, we haven't seen supports recently that much, right? I mean, yeah, they have kind of been nerfed. Rafaela is the strongest right now. She's basically the Gojo Satoru. No, she's not Gojo Satoru. What is a character that revives? I don't exactly know a character that revives in fiction. I mean, I might know, but I'm not able to recall it right now at this point. But overall, I feel like the Phobius was... I feel like I want to see a Phobius coming in from the hands of Stepbros, and I also would love to see a Kadita or a Lilia, especially considering the Kadita's main weakness of her ultimate being interrupted by a lot of skills has been removed. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of players are kind of out of touch with Kadita as well. I've noticed a few players trying the Kadita, but their combos are a slight miss. Need a little bit of practice, that's for sure. But it's okay. The season has just begun. The patch just dropped a few days ago, and it's all fine. This time around, though, they ban out the Kufra. Does that mean they in Heaven want to go for another assassin? I would not honestly recommend that.
Hayabusa.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about the Hayabusa too, because Joy, I don't think she's going to be working out anymore. Best bet is to go for the Hayabusa out there. But then again, in this meta, I feel like going for a utility jungle or a fighter jungle is much more better. But then again, first pick Badang already. Flex pick coming in from the side of Team in Heaven this time. They have the CC, they have quite the initiator up there. Unlike last time, unlike the previous match, which is, in a sense, a bit of an upgrade.
Crazy.
I just think, yes. Peachy, go ahead, don't worry.
Why
We have
Florian? Why? I still don't understand. Didn't she receive a nerf?
I think they're just banning it out, so she can't be pretty in the Land of Dawn. I think
My hero. That, I mean, come on.
there's another one. There's another one. You should be happy. It's your Bethilda. Bethilda makes an appearance overall. I think they just went out the Florin to pick up the Mathilda for themselves. But
Yeah.
honestly, it could have went south if In Heaven picked it up. So I honestly want to criticize a little bit. Why didn't In Heaven pick up the Mathilda then? Like, there's a healer ban. It's pretty obvious that Stepbros doesn't want you to take the healer or shielder, but they went in for the Badang again. They are again kind of making the mistake and biting into the bait of Stepbros right now. And I'm not the biggest fan of it. But hey, let's just wait out and see. It is possible that they could go for Rafaela right now because she is open.
Okay. I like that, Rafaela is still open for them, but I don't think it could work very well into the hands of team in heaven, given the fact that they are known to pick something of a one-man pick-off. This time around, I'm placing my bets on the Badang being a roam Badang.
Oh, yeah, certainly. It could be the case, or they might just pull up something, some other CC tank. But as of now, Fredrine comes as an answer for the Hayabusa, which is quite good. They already have the mobility from the Matilda, and with that Fredrine, he would be able to tank all the Ogi Shadow kill shots coming in from our Hayabusa. Given that the Kufra is onto the ban this time, though. Selena getting banned out. Quite interesting pick, and already the marksman pre-selected.
Man, come on. I want to see Neko's Queen playing up a Farsa. I mean, Selena, my bad. Oh my god, I'm looking at Farsa and I'm like, Farsa. Yeah, Farsa is there definitely for Neko's Queen, but let's see the Yuzhong out of the way this time around. The back laners, somewhere around some heroes that could jump onto the back lanes are out of the position. In heaven, the pressure is on onto them.
Absolutely. And in heaven, feeling the pressure is the fact that they have picked up the Hayabusa. This is the thing. When you start to play into the minds of your opposing team, that's when you get into the defensive spot. But they do have one good response, and that is a Moskov, which can work out extremely well considering he scales off late game very well. And that is what you do. When you get into the defensive position, you need to make sure you have a late game insurance, as Moskov does provide that. But they also need to provide insurance to the Moskov. They need to make sure that he is well protected and he has a zone to dish out the damage. They need right now 2 targets that can provide crowd control as well as provide some semblance of pushback or CC. I mean, not just pushback. I mean, I am meaning crowd control, but also pushback. They need to make sure Moskov doesn't get too close to the opposing team's Fredrin, because once you're close to the Fredrin, you kind of get stuck in the chain CC of his taunt, the knock up, and obviously the bonk comes in and you get slashed in half. So you want to avoid that, because look at the abundance of CC that's again coming in from Stepbros. In heaven needs to respawn right now with proper picks, or they're gonna get stuck. Obviously they can't go for Arlot, they can't go for Eunice, they can't go for Yuzhong. Edith could be a viable one, but that is not exactly something that I would choose for a tank. So maybe it's time to go for the good old reliable back to a something beefy like a Tigreal or a Hylos. But even then, that's risky.
Glue is still there, but talking about beefy, Gadot Kacha is gonna be their answer for this one, but followed by a Kimi in the mid lane up as well. I do like the phobias picked out by the side of Team Stepbros. They have a lot of CC because of the Fredrin and the phobias up all together, and you got Matilda to escape as well. But oh well, last pick would be the Nathan going up against Team Moskov out here, Peachy.
Kimmy onto the mid lane, Nathan coming onto the Land of Dawn, finally right here at the Mythic Showdown season number 1. But I'm more interested to see the Fredrin though. A very dazzling combo definitely coming in from the Matilda as well as this Fredrin. But late game in heavens, they do have a lot of potential to get away with a lot of damage. But Stepbros are no less. They did cover it up, and Phobius finally into the hands of Dark.
Yeah, this is what I was waiting for. But funny enough, Nathan's buff is so minimal, but let's talk about it later on, because, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Land of Dawn as we dive into the game number 2 between Team Stepbros and In Heaven. Stepbros already leading with 1 pointer and in heaven closer to elimination from the Swiss stages from Mythic Showdown Season 1. Onto the casting desk, myself, Peachy. I'm myself, Ray, and joining me is Peachy. I swapped the things around a little bit, but of course, it's okay. Peachy, hello, hello. Nice to see you. I mean, you are obviously with me. What am I even talking about? I'm a little excited. The thing I wanted to mention, Nathan's buff is just 1 second reduction in the late game. I'm not sure how is that a buff. Like 1 second?
No, that doesn't matter much though.
Yeah, it's like they just wanted to give him the the seal, like, oh, you're buffed. What? 1 second. But yeah, overall we're seeing the game and a little bit of engages poking. Overall, we'll probably see some action in the turtle fight.
That's true. Let's see first blood where it will be going, maybe into the hands of Stepbros or in Heavens, because both of the teams do have the potential to take it away into their hands. Now, we were talking about yesterday as well, day before yesterday when we were casting together, how the Gatotkacha and the Hylos combo is already out of the way, but the Gatotkacha is back for in Heavens. They still have to transition towards the new meta. So let's see this game around if they are able to keep up with the pressure. Look at that.
Both of these mages have like same amount of poking because Kimi has more range actively because of course she's a marksman, and Farsa gets more range when she uses her ultimate. But Farsa's burst is much stronger, so that is something that they need to watch out for. But this time around they do have one good response, and that is Nino-kun on the Gatotkacha. Gatot will easily be able to nullify if the Farsa decides to go ham on her ultimate, but Farsa does have the flicker as well. Maybe that would come in clutch, but there is an engage coming in, Peachy.
Let's see into the backlines. Nino Kumar is actually getting zoned out, but Neko's Queen so comfortable, trying to make sure Greg would be the one, but Uji Shadow kill forced out. That was the turtle going down into the hands of Stepbros. First blood. That will be the dark double kill picked up, trying to go in for triple. Will they be successful though? The cure out of the way, safe, trying to go back, find a spot.
0-4-3 score. Stepbros again leads the game with the early bit. At least Moskov will be able to go for that split put game this time around, and this could be their strength, their key. But there's one thing, Spit needs to watch out for the rotations that could be coming in. Just like that, look at the bottom lane. He was almost caught if it wasn't for the flicker, but a 120-second cooldown. He needs to play it safe for the next 2 minutes, or else he's gonna get toasted by, of course, the bird itself.
Let's see. This time around, Stepbros with the early snowball onto their hands. You're not talking about how the Fredrin is getting killed, but the EXP laner, which is matters. Dark, he's already proactive. He's coming around the map, making sure the team will be having enough support. Look at his position, even right now. They are, coming up with the positioning, but wait a minute, I do smell something going on. They caught on.
They immediately head on, but into the bottom lane, Moskov doing his best, but this is what I was talking about. Doesn't have the flicker right now, and Dark will be taking him down, making him the prey, and that guided winds makes him sure that he doesn't fall prey into the knockup from the Gatotkacha. And this is the thing, when you waste your resources into the early engages, you get kind of stuck. Q also will have to use the flicker, and knowing that the Farsa also wanted to go in a little bit, but of course, she's smart, she's not gonna waste that many resources. They know for the next 2 minutes, the Kimi is also vulnerable.
Oh, Kimi this time around onto the middle lane does have some potential, but needs items, especially they need at least 2 items to give out the damage. Turtle being up, but the teams are having a push and pull, but Stepbros having the eyes on, and that is going to be a turtle into the hands of Stepbros. Hayabusa getting zoned out quite easily, and especially by Neko's Queen. Crazy. Onto the other hand, Finn comes in with a setup, but the damage transfer from in heaven is just very, very less.
I would have honestly preferred the Barang into the XP lane. I just want this guy on the XP lane, but just as I speak, he almost got smothered on the bottom lane. But yeah, oh, okay, they want to go in for an engage. Hayabusa dishes out the damage, but he is feeling the nerf because he's not able to, doesn't have enough farm, doesn't have the buff either, cannot dish out enough damage to take him down. Right now, Dark just dishing out the damage, sustaining himself against Nino-kun. And he's also pushed back by the Moskov. He's like, thank you, and he survives it. And this is a full 5-man wipeout. Hayabusa also respawns because it's only been 5 minutes, but Stepbros are playing this game like it's already 12.
5 minutes into the game, it doesn't feel like 0 for 10. That's crazy. But ASAP though, trying to go in for the taunt and into the turret. Inside the turret. That is just crazy.
Absolutely, they're just really dominating this game around, and this is honestly. It has to be. Just as Big Finn gets finished immediately by the Nathan's burst potential that's coming in. Not burst, sorry, it's DPS because after all, he's shooting things. I sometimes get mixed up. But overall, Stepbros are leading it with a staggering 7,000 goal lead.
Holy shit, what a game coming in for GRG though. He's already zoned out so much that he's not able to take his own. Desertron coming in from the Matilda, pops out of the way, but no, he will be taken out. That will be the Moscow with the kill. Onto the other hand, ASAP trying to make sure he is stacking up. Does have the stack though, losing it out. Wait a minute, he's a little bit out of the turret, making sure that he won't be getting in, but GRG, wait a minute, no, he gets the taunt over, and Neko's Queen with the finishing touch takes it over.
This has honestly been a very fast-paced game, and if it wasn't for the fact that turrets have defense, Dark escapes that narrow, is almost narrow. It was a narrow one. He almost got sucked into it. But overall, Stepbros basically have this game in their hands, and they're leading it. And this honestly looks like it will finish soon, unless there's a chance that the side of In Heaven can switch things around. But what are the chances? Because Stepbros is playing with a lot of discipline. They are making sure to have the preventive measures, and look at ASAP. He wants to go for a target. He wants to go for that bonk. He's looking hungry to take someone down. Kimi better watch out. But the side of In Heaven also retreat.
1 for 15. It's just the mid game you're talking about, how Stepbros are able to take so much from the map as well. Look at the turrets. The tier 3 turrets are normal standing over. The revitalize coming in for Nino-kun will be helping him to making sure that he will be surviving. But the passes is something that they need to make sure they will be having it up. But no, middle lane off, top lane passive is also off, I believe, and the bot lane is just standing over. That's going to be a crazy game for side of In Heaven. They'll have to pray to every god as of now if they have to push it to game number 3.
Yeah, they have to. Like, if they want to push this, there are very low chances. The only way they possibly can is a Moskov, which kind of gets countered out by the Nathan, because Nathan can just spin the wind of nature. Moskov can build Rose Gold as well, yes, but the Rose Gold can be baited out by the Farsa first. Or even someone else, like the Fredrin, because of course Rose Gold gets activated when you get bursted, right? And the Fredrin right now is level 12, while the Moscow still sits at level 9, and there's an engage coming in. It's a lot of damage, but Nino-kun will retreat with the AOG.
5 of the members already there into the middle lane. They are trying to push in. That will be the ASAP goes in with a taunt, but he is 50% of his HP. Finn though catches 2 in his walls, but wait a minute, Finn will be the one who would be taken out. GRG looking quite low. Double kill picked up by the Nathan, trying to go in for more ASAP though. Will he be able to get a move out now? Taunted there. Kyo picks up the kill. Triple kill for this Nathan. Look at him, he's able to pop his ultimate just in a blink of eye. But wait a minute, he will be able to get out.
Of course he's able to do so, because right now they're leading with so much gold. It is absolutely insane. 12,000 gold lead under 10 minutes. That is absolutely diabolical. Right now the Nathan is just going ham and solo, almost taking down Finn again and again, because he's just not having the best of his time right now. Being the frontliner as Badang, it's not the best option to be in. This is why I really wanted the Gapok to be the roamer and the Badang to be the XP lane, because that's what they are, right? The fighter and the NXP. Roamer, sorry. Tank, yeah, fighter and tank. But they didn't go for it. I feel like they could have went in and it would have been a little bit better, considering the Badang also has been slightly adjusted. But overall, the draft, as well as Of course, the Stepbros over aggressive playstyle is something that in heaven it's just not prepared to face this time around.
My, what a game coming in for the side of Team Stepbros. Absolutely dominating now that the pressure is getting towards in heaven. There's no inhibitor at the mid, at the top lane as well. They'll have to make sure anyhow. Are they ready to accept a defeat? Because team in heaven, they did have inconsistent performance in the last round as well. They were the ones who forfeited. Now this time around as well, let's see if this is going to be a clean sweep or not.
A very possible contending one, because we do see the bonk coming in from Ace of Kelly. Immediately smothers the only hope standing, which was the Spit, the gold laner. And right now the responsibility falls into Kimi, and Dark immediately goes in with the flank and boom and takes him down. And right now the only one standing is gonna be the Badang. The Hayabusa does respawn at the nick of second, but what's it gonna matter when you're immediately gonna get taken down as well. And the side of Team in Heaven, we'll have to say goodbye to them as they're gonna be eliminated from the competition. And Stepbros, they still stay strong and they're still gonna see the sun rise up as they're still in the Swiss stages, fighting for the 3-pointers to get into the knockout stages amongst other teams.
And Zero, welcome back.
Glad to be back again, Peachy. Goodness gracious, the amount of aggressiveness that Team Stepbros were putting up against Team in Heaven, it was just too much pressure for them to handle. Despite I'm not quite sure, for Team in Heaven what is being up with them. Their fighting spirit has gone down quite a lot, and it should have been an all-out match, but we didn't get to see it much up from though.
True, and this is one of the team that really has potential with Greg and all. I feel like they do have it, but in the Mythic Showdown, as you have already mentioned, the energy is definitely down.
Of course, because today we are seeing a team getting eliminated out of the competition. It feels
Quite
bad,
sad,
of
yes.
course, but in Heaven, you had a great journey. You made it to the Swiss stages, and of course, until round 3, you stayed persistent and you stayed strong. But of course, it's a competition. There is a winner, but there is also someone. There needs to be someone who needs to come next time. Not a loser, someone that will have to come in for the next competition, of course. And tonight it's going to be them, but let's not dwell on it too much. Hopefully they have a good journey ahead and they come stronger. Obviously a redeem arc is always great, and congratulations to Stepbros for moving ahead. So Zero, take it away.
Yep, certainly congratulations to Stepbros, and hope to see in Heaven back in game. In some other timeline or some other tournament, if we have to say. But well, aside from that, though, I think our viewers are more excited about the next match that is about to
Of course
happen.
they are.
The
Wait,
Peak versus Lafukabi match, right?
Wait,
Well,
before we move on to that, what do you mean by different timeline? Do you know who's gonna win Mythic Showdown?
This is crazy.
no, we certainly do not. Just
Okay, she got cut off there. It looks like the TVA got to her. Zero, stay safe. The Time Variance Authority now will make you cease from this existence. But of course, jokes aside, ladies and gentlemen, I know you're here for the guy on the thumbnail, obviously the YouTuber Zozo, the GOAT mid laner, and right now he is going to be playing, of course, against Pick 2 Plummet. Lafukabi versus Pick 2 Plummet. The match will start soon, so stay tuned and we'll be right back. This is Mythic Showdown Season 1, and we'll be back with match number 2 between Lafukabi and Pick 2 Plummet. So stay tuned.
ये तारा इनको बहुत ज्यादा दिक्कत देने वाला है। थोड़ा सा फिर से यहाँ पर लौट आएंगे, अंदर जाएंगे परफेक्ट। थोड़ा सा कर देने वाला है, थोड़ा सा फिर से यहाँ पर लौट आएंगे, अंदर जाएंगे, परफेक्ट। था, कर देने वाला है थोड़ा सा, फिर से यहाँ पर लौट आएंगे, अंदर जाएंगे, परफेक्ट। रहा था, कर देने वाला है थोड़ा सा, फिर से यहाँ पर लौट आएंगे, अंदर जाएंगे, पॉपअप रहा था, कर देने वाला है थोड़ा सा, फिर से यहाँ पर लौट आएंगे, अंदर जाएंगे, परफेक्ट। कर देने वाला है। थोड़ा सा फिर से यहाँ पर लौट आएंगे, अंदर जाएंगे, परफेक्ट।
तीन लोगों को छाला लेकिन मैं बच नहीं पाई।
Welcome back to the Mythic Showdown powered by IGC Indian Gaming Corps. We are back into the banger. Yes, guys, the elimination round is going on right now. Whoever lose will be going to home. Bye bye, tata, khatam type of thing. So we saw the first match. What happened? In which in events just exit the Mythic Showdown with a 2-0 loss against Stepbros. Obviously, the comeback king, Stepbros. We'll be going into the next round. But now, one more big match coming on. Lafu Kabi, one of the greatest team of Assam, versus Team Pick to Plummet. P2P versus Lafukabi is reigning on right now, and we'll be seeing it a BO3 series, maybe the last for P2P, or maybe a last series for Lafukabi. We don't know. It's Zozo, guys. Let's see how Zozo versus I'll say Skyzen, because I mean that guy is literally one of the greatest MM right now. If you're gonna see in the youngster way, he's one of the greatest MM. By the way, introduction part coming on. Me, your host STZ, will be here with me again. My two of the favorite Indian caster, you can say the best Indian caster, will be joining with me today. In my right side, it will be Asuya, and my left side, it will be Tami. Hello, Tami. Is your brawl over?
Yeah, it's over. So, hi Ash, and welcome back everyone to the Mythic Showdown. Like Ash has already introduced, a lot of things are going to be onto the stake because this is going to be an elimination round for both Team Lafukabi as well as Team Peak to Plummet. So, the stakes are high, and whoever will be losing out onto the series, they will be like eliminated, like he mentioned already. But the draft phase is already on. Yesterday's game we casted, we did see the comfort priority over the meta. So Lafukabi and Peak, we do know these are one of the best teams from the Northeast. They are quite known and they are quite active onto the tournament scene too. So I guess both of them, they have done their homeworks regarding their drafts, and most probably they will be prioritizing the meta bans and picks instead of comfort. So we are yet to see some action coming up.
Damn sure. Hello, Asuya. Are you there? How are you doing? And what are your feeling on this? Lafukabi or Pick to Plummet? Who will be taking a bid today, a farewell from Mythic Showdown, and who will be going to the next round? Quick guess.
Well, I cannot say anything, because this is a game, this is a 5 versus 5, and it depends on how good people are playing, how good the synergy between them is. And, well, and just like Itami mentioned before, that we do have people right now, since the new meta just came up with the new season, we haven't actually been seeing those new heroes, those new kind of drafts taken up by the Indian meta right now, by the Indian teams. So it will take a bit more time for them for observation and implementation of those new kind of drafts. So even the bans, they are the same Oregon bans, except we do have the Lapu Lapu because he is a beast in the EXP right now.
Yes, obviously, and maybe the reason teams are not adapting the new meta is kind of because a lot of heroes got a buff, and it maybe get a nerf soon before the MSC happens. So I feel like that. I also feel like that during MSC there will be one more patch coming on in which we'll see a little bit buff to the assassins, because without assassins, I mean, tournaments doesn't feel like tournament. Okay, even caster doesn't have that much. Hype into the match. I mean, you're not seeing Kyrie going. I mean, outplaying those echoes, Yaoi and all. So you need that assassin power as well. So maybe that's the reason. But it's okay. They will be recuperating onto it soon. But right now, we kind of seeing the Lapu Lapu band coming on with a Granger from Lafu Kabi. That's I mean always why Lafu Kabi Lapu Lapu is kind of a tongue twister always. I felt Itami Granger band. What are your thoughts?
I guess they're prioritizing Skyzen's comfort heroes. Like they are trying to ban out Skyzen's comfort hero. One of his heroes is Granger, so it is quite understandable. But his hero pool is quite wide, so it's not just the Granger, but it can be a respect ban coming up. Yesterday we did see IGN, like Aaron the creator. He is also one of the Granger users, and he was able to like excel really well with that hero. But against Peak to Plummet, Lafukabi banning out Granger, that will be something I would say that will be quite of a respect. And as we were discussing the patch, we did mention the EXP heroes have been quite buffed, and both of the sides, if you look at it, most of the heroes, they are EXPs.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a EXP meta, so obviously we're gonna see those EXP bans. But it's remind me something that a lot of heroes open right now in the mage section, in the assassin section as well, in the jungle section if you're gonna look after. But banning out a Granger for Skyzen is not a good trade, I can say, because he has a great hero pool. He can go with other MMs, and you shouldn't ban someone's who have a greater hero pool. You should not target him. You should target someone who doesn't have a great hero pool. But right now, we're gonna see some respawn in this match as the holy baptism girl, that is obviously Rafaela, will be there from pick to Plummet. Lafukabi next. Two picks coming on. Harith, what do you think, Asuya?
Harith can be a great pick, but then it highly depends because right now he is pretty easy to counter, and he if you go in for a Harriet, you really need a strong early so that your jungler, your EXP laner, they are two of those people who can provide a good amount of space, a good amount of snowball in the early so that the core laner can shine. And right now, PTP already grabbing on to the Rafaela. And since she does have a lot of utility right now, so we will be seeing quite a lot of revivals coming up. And really need around, around if they manage to get that flask around 3 or 4 minutes of the game, will be going in good for PTP. But right now, we just need to see that how Lafukabi is going to counter it out because it's been quite some time since I've been seeing a Yu Zhong in the ranks right now.
Yep, and it's kind of annoying can say that because with that War Axe, Hunter Strike sometimes going for Sky Piercer as well. It's got a lot of damage right now. It's hella bad, I can say. But it's okay. He got the buff this time. He has I mean, every dog has his days. So right now, the dragon has his days. So Selena
Speak
into
of
the
the
mid lane.
dog.
So it's Selena into the mid lane. Zozo on it. Let's see how it goes for him. He has been seen with the Xavier. He has been seen with the Foster. But right now, it's the Selena. And we're going to see the Arlot. Oh my goodness. This is what I want to see. Arlot versus Yuzong. Those two buff heroes and the Roger into the jungle. Roger Cars, Itami?
Hmm. Maybe or maybe not. We are yet to see where he is gonna go.
Yeah.
He's gonna be going because the gold laner as well as the jungler position it is still open. So he can be used out as a flex pick. So is the Arlet, but apparently it will be an EXP Arlet because Rafaela has already been prioritized from the side of peak. And Lafu Kabi, Zozo he likes going out with the Selena. So they are just giving him the good one of his comfort heroes. That is understandable, and looks like the Moscow will be coming up against Team Peak to Plummet. So they are getting the hands on to the Moscow earlier than Peak to Plummet apparently, because Skyzen also likes going out with the Moscow too. So it would have been possible if he went out with the Moscow, he could have been doing those split pushes, and once he completes the Trinity build, he would have been able to contribute a lot onto those team fights. But for this game, Moscow onto the hands of Lafukabi.
Yep, and Skyzin yet to pick his MM. A lot of MM options are open. Maybe Lafukabi gonna target Skyzin again at this moment because that's the reason they went for the goal lane first rather than going for some other lane. No, a Fedrin to the ban list. They
Oh,
perhaps thinking this Roger to be into the goal lane. Skyzin going for a Roger and banning this Fedrin will be costing them this trade for real. And now we're gonna see a Kufra ban. That is also unnecessary because I don't feel like a Kufra can be a good pick in a tournament where 5v5 going on. It could have been a good pick in a rank, but for whom? I mean, you don't have a mobility hero. Roger is not a Fanny. Alot, he's not a Joy. Shouldn't have gone for them. Both sides, I'm confused.
Well, if you
Okay.
ask me,
Yep. Yeah, Basu, tell me. I'm confused right now. Roger to goal lane?
um,
Roger is a
can be
flex.
possible. Have you seen the bug? I don't know if it has been fixed or not, but his attack speed just skyrockets with the recall. So if you're a toxic player, you would love to play Roger right now. And at Kufra, of course, he denies the dashes, and right now, Arlott is one of those heroes who loves dashing away. And since they do have, like, even might be going in for more crowd control so that they give more freedom, more flexibility to P2P. But then again, I really think that they do have a lot of mobility and a lot of flexibility into their comp right now. And if we do see Team Lafukabi um, picking up the Kalia, she is great even after the nerf, but then you just need a purify, the marksman or the mage. Those two are the people you really want to just take up, but they will be on the purify. And right now, even the Rafaela, she is a support, she is quite squishy, and she might even try to go in for a purify.
I'm just waiting. Yes, you know what
Oh,
happened.
oh
You know
my
what
god.
happened. Okay.
Well, there it goes.
I mean, as we have just mentioned that Roger to be in the goal lane. It is happening, guys. Roger to the goal lane, okay? Because of the attack speed, but as we don't know about the Roger curse. Whenever me and Itami cast, whoever picks Roger, that team lose. is the Roger curse going on? Maybe today the curse will be gone because of the Moonstone. Okay, I mean not Moonstone, that's because of the Asuya. It's a TVD, I mean, reference if you have seen it. But right now, Lancelot to the jungle, Nobaria to the mid against the Selena. Good picks coming out from P2P. Doubting that Roger right now, but I'm not sure. Ling coming on, that's a good one as well. Lafukabi with a good draft as well. What do you think, Itami? Who will gonna take on the game? I think Lafukabi. What's your thought?
Battle of Assassins, man, this time. Finally, we are like actually seeing a Battle of Assassins, which is actually good to see. And like we said about the Roger curse, he has been prioritized by some of the teams, but unfortunately, it's not working out. The one of the issues with Roger is if he's not able to get that snowball potential onto the early phases of the game, then it can be like troubling. Like you are only going to be a nuisance Roger for your team, but I kind of trust Kaizen. Hopefully he will be able to work it out. And this game, it is going to be an equal kind of a matchup. But Ash, I'll give it to you.
Yep, here we are into the land of Dawn. Mythic Showdown is kicking off. Second match going on right now. Lafukabi versus Team Pick to Plummet. And here we are for the first set. Casters, please take on the game.
Thank you, Ash. And if you ask me, Tami, right now, Peak to Plummet, their draft is way too squishy. Like they do have the Lancelot, he can be the difference maker in the team fights because he can dive in pretty easily, take down the Selena. Because if the Selena marks down the marksman, or she makes sure that the mage is also hit up, so she might be the potential bone of contention and someone who really needs to be taken down pretty early into the game. But we are seeing something small skirmish happening in the top lane, but we do have both the teams for the assist. Zozo already
Zozo?
with the assist.
Oh!
Again, same goes to Lancelot. Both of them playing like never before. Just look at that beautiful engagements coming in. Zozo being the best Selena in the early, because of course Selena excels in the early game.
Selena glazing right there. But yeah, anyways, Selena has the early game advantage, and it is kind of showing up from the side of Team Lafukabi quite already. And Skyzen, the laning phase is going out quite decent, but okay, the early games engage going around, forced to use out his flick. Oh my goodness, so you good. He gets the first blood, and Lafukabi with a good start.
That was you cannot deny that the Selena turned into a Lancelot over there. So we do have two Lancelots over here, but same goes for the Link. Okay, he gets shot by that meteor, barely surviving. But yeah, so much mobility, so much skill display in this game, Itami, right now. The first turtle of the game already spawned up. Both the teams looking in for the exchange, but Yuzhong definitely with the upper hand, already level 4. Meanwhile, Aizen looking for some. I don't think they will be able to compete for this turtle.
Yeah, they most probably should not. And yeah, that is Tsunami Slam coming up. A really good engage once again from the side of Team Lafukabi. Not just they got the turtle, they got one of the kills onto the mid laner as well. So they are making full use of that early game snowball they have. Peak as well, as you said, they have a squishy kind of a composition. So it would have been better if they played out more defensively. But for now, the engage is coming up from the side of Team Lafukabi is kind of excelling.
Well, definitely. And, the way the aggressiveness coming from the Selena, Zozo going in once again, Lancelot between 4 people. Same goal for Arlot, 4 versus 2. And Zozo once again being the goat will be taking down the Lancelot, not having the best time of his life. Isn't trying to do something, but the defense is not enough. The respawn coming in, and Lancelot is back into the land of Dawn. Roger once again facing 1 versus 2, not having the best time of his life. Peak to Plummet, literally suffering in the early game since they do not have much aggressiveness for the early. Roger trying to save up and looking for some exchanges right there. That
Tsunami
was a
Slam.
misplay coming in. The Purify being used up by the Roger. The Tsunami Slam being wasted right there.
But the cooldown, yeah, it will be taking some time, but still the Skyzen somehow was able to defend his lane. Oh, Yuzhong was quite deep, but he will be getting onto that outlet. He does have the farm advantage. Skyzen is quite low as well. He will be going back, and this
Oh.
gold tower has been already been taken down. So almost getting the abyssal trap, but they have just decided to retreat. The gold tower already getting taken down. The abyssal trap as well as the S1 connecting. Oh my god, Skyzen will be going down. There comes the Templates of Blades as well as the double kill for that Ling. And they have got a 2-for-0 trade. And looks like they will be going back. SOD comes up and there is the Novaria. Oh my goodness, a 3-for-0. Lafu Kabi making full use of that early game advantage. Charon finally gets the kill. Moscow was too deep, but still they got their trades.
What is the issue over here? The issue is, of course, the EXP right now because Arlot did get that buff, but then again, look at the amount of mobility Lafukabi has right now, and Aizen really needs them to be close together, or maybe at least 2 or 3 people sticking together so that he can use that ultimate, he can use those stuns, dash around, use his kit to the full of his potential. But unfortunately, he is not getting that opportunity since there is the link already with the Purify. So much dash into his hand, and Roger once again
Skyzen,
might be on the chopper block. He will be taken out. Okay, the miss coming in from the Lancelot, and he will be paying for it as the link goes away pretty successfully, and the stun coming in from the Moscow, grabbing onto the kills and the turtle once again in the hands of Team Lafukabi. Zozo laying everything just adds up.
Oh my goodness, they are just diving onto Lemonade as well, and they got the kill once again. The dragon goes back, but he goes down onto the process. The final flash coming up from that Arlet. There is the pokes coming up from Sakura, but she will be taken down onto the process, and that will be a double for Aizen. Peak to Plummet, they are trying to find the opening, but Aizen goes down onto the process. Jozo once again dives. That will be a killing spring for him. The Tempest of Blaze also comes up. Ling with the unstoppable. A 2-for-0 for the 2-for-1 actually for the side of Team Lafukabi. The team fight is happening, and it is still Lafukabi who are still having the upper hand.
Well, it's all rough, Dami. They, Peak to Plummet way too squishy. Zozo's stunts always connecting. I mean, just look at that. Even though it is a Lancelot with the second skill, he has the immune, and yet somehow he's getting target locked because if he uses that up, there will always be the Kalea, or it will be the Selena, or it will be the Yuzhong who excels in diving behind the scenes. So Novaria doesn't have the opportunity, doesn't have the freedom to actually snipe anyone down. Same goes for the Moscow. With his ultimate, he can just go behind and just destroy those backlines. Meanwhile, we are seeing engage once again, and the Tsunami Slam coming in, Aizen, and the Stun Petrify combo coming in from the Yuzhong. A double kill for Lafukabi right there. Just look at them. They are going in deep once again, trying to take down the Lancelot and the Sign Finch. Coming in, looking for some exchanges, doesn't happen, but they just decide to retreat for now. And the macro, micro, everything in the hands of Team Lafukabi with the goal advantage they have right now.
Definitely, and it's the tower advantage for this side as well. They were able to take down the side lanes, which is actually giving them the better map control. The visions are coming out, so as soon as they are engaging, they are able to find those trees. Zozo is kind of deep. He will be going back. He is doing that shing thing. Okay, Charin might be able to get a kill. Oh my goodness, this guy just escaped with the flicker, and Novaria won't be connecting with that Astral Echo. The Tsunami Slam comes up and it gets cancelled by the Petrify. It looks like once again Lafukabi will be able to secure that third objective. That will be another turtle for their side.
Easy objective for Lafukabi once again. They do not have anything to lock down Ling right now, who is so farmed up. Just look at the damage coming in from Moscow as well as the Ling. Unstoppable, and once again, it will be a third kill in the hands of Team Lafukabi. Only 2 members remaining. Lafukabi looking to push up from the second tier in the mid lane. They are unfallable right now. Just look at them dominating everywhere. Whether it goes for the macro, comes for the micro. The follow-ups are amazing. The initiations coming in are amazing. And once again, Lancelot tries to go back. It's not enough as the trap explodes and he will die. Oh my god. The dragon is there behind the scenes. With the follow-ups, with the zone outs, this combo is working so good for them right now. Roger trying to do something, but just like you said, Atami, he needs Snowball, and they do not have any amount of gold right now. They do not have the
Charan,
support.
Charan.
And I think Lancelot trying to do something right there. Manages to escape in a pretty low HP. And with that, I think for now, defense is the best offense for them.
Yeah, offense can be the best defense. And Lafukabi, the kill advantage is way too high for them and almost 10k gold lead. That is the problem. Peak, I guess I would like to look at the itemizations as well as the gold, but I don't think Skyzen, he is able to keep up with the gold lead that the Moskov has. And yep, exactly. Moskov has over 2k gold lead onto him. The itemizations are not up to him, at least for now, and he has already been taken down 5 times. So it is not a good sign being a goal laner. You as well as your jungler is supposed to be giving the damage for your team, but unfortunately it is not happening. They are not able to find that opening as well. Looks like another engage will be coming up. There's a blaze being used out, and he comes with the chain fins, but finally a
Oh.
shutdown coming up onto that lane. Spear of destruction comes up from the back line, and they are driving onto every one of them. A 3-for-1 for the side of Team Lafukabi. Once again, they are the better team finding the advantage, and looks like they will be going out with the tower and trying to prioritize for the Lord. They are trying to take down the shield as well. Skyzen is all alone trying to defend the lanes. He is able to do it somehow, but at what cost? The guard has been opened, and Lafukabi, they are directly going out for the Lord. They don't want to overextend the game. That is a good choice because you have these squishy, like you have the snowball, but still comebacks can be happening.
Well, might be happening, but I think this draft they kind of messed up. So maybe giving away or just letting Lafukabi win this time and trying for the next game can be possible. But right now, the Lord marching down, it is a flicker used up by the Kalia, trying to provide some vision, some zones. Zozo stun from the left. I will League to Plummet, they do not have enough frontlining, they do not have enough crowd control, and right now everything marching down the dragon with the petrified combo on to 3 people. Lane coming in from behind the scenes, same code for the SOT, and right now the Lord taking down the first inhibitor of the game. They're still trying to force it through. Peak to Plummet struggling to defend, and right now 3 of them still marking down the base right there. Looking damage coming in from the Moscow, manages to go behind. The heal is there though, and finally Kalia will be taken down, but at what cost? One turret is down, the minions are still approaching, the sync looks to be perfect right now, and with that, it is the Yuzhong who is trying to go behind the scenes. He will be taken down by Skyzen right there, and with that, it will be an exchange as her fire will be next on the supply. Look at the damage coming in from the Moscow, trying to do something right there with a really low HP. Lancelot tries to go behind the scene. Here comes Lane for the rescue. Both of them. Oh my god. Look at that second skill coming in from the Lancelot being doing such an amazing job. The SOD is just amazing. In a very, very crucial position.
Oh my god.
Meanwhile, will be taken down. That was
Somehow.
amazing.
Nah, that was absolute skirmish. And looks like somehow Team Peak to Plummet, they are able to extend the game. But the trades once again for the side of Team Lafukabi. Skyzen, he is trying to dive onto those backlines, but unfortunately someone is there to take him out. The Purify getting, oh my goodness, it was too deep this time. Dex gets taken down from the hands of Zozo. Black Dragon coming up, there is the Abyssal Trap connecting, and there is the Tsunami Slam coming up. That will be a double for the GOAT, and looks like he will be going for more, and he is trying to take some more of them down. Skyzen as well as 3 of the members from the side of Team Peak to Plummet are already remaining. The SOD comes up, and the minions are still not there, so I guess they will be trying to wait it out, or maybe they will be trying to dive in onto the base. Ling is back onto the scene. There is the initiation coming up, but the base is wide open, and Team Lafukabi, they will be wasting no time. They will be going for the end. No Lord contest. Game 1 taken down from the side of Team Lafu. And I guess Ash TZ is also, back with us as well. Ash, give me your thoughts regarding the match. And absolutely,
Roger curse. It's the Roger curse and nothing else. But I'm not happy with P2P lineup. I'm seriously not happy because this is a do or die set, man. You should have gone with the test picks like this. I mean, it's okay. Roger into goal lane.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but yeah, Zozo is the MVP. I was about to mention this. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I mean, I mentioned him. He's the Zlatan Ibrahimovic of MLBB. I mean, you know
We
what?
can
I
see, we
saw
can see Tommy. Tommy's so excited since Zozo
he,
got that
he is
MVP.
one of the Zozo blazers.
Everyone
So
is. I mean, it's just not me.
yeah.
Everyone is on the live chat.
I mean, you know what? Somehow I saw a comment one day that someone wrote, uh, Zozo was so overpowered that MLBB needs to make a surrender button so that people will not play against him. So I've seen this type of comments as well. It's okay. It's okay. Leave it. I was talking about the draft. It's kind of good draft they made, Lafukabi. They did a good draft. And about that Kufra ban, I was thinking maybe because of the Lancelot pick, and also, as you have mentioned, it could have been a great hindrance towards the Arlot, but Arlot didn't done much against the Yuzong. If you see the whole match, it's okay. I mean, the draft gone wrong for P2P, but Roger in the goal lane was season 34, I think so. It was way too
Last year
back. And,
MSC.
yep,
Yeah.
yep. It
Last year's
was way
MSC.
too back. And if you remember that season, Roger was goal laner because he got a buff into Lick and Pounce as well as his normal second skill when he's in the human form. He got that buff there. The CD, the cooldown was there. Therefore, he was walking great onto the. I mean, obviously onto the goal lane. Also, the damage spike was great. But now, if you see, only the damage spike is great. If you want to see the skills cooldown are pretty same, just like it was. So therefore, it doesn't work. It's okay. We are again back into the second game, which is a match point for Lafukabi. And let me let me tell you this, guys, that if Lafukabi wins, P2P will be going to home. They will be not contesting in Mythic Showdown. They'll be bye bye. And maybe I will say one more harsh thing is that they will be out from the Mythic leaderboard, maybe, because I heard that whoever will be the top 8 will be totally given the Mythic leaderboard scene. I mean, Lafukabi being in the number 10 can comes to the number 8, can cut out the P2P from the, I mean, their rank. Right now we're there. So let's see how it goes. But right now, Badang should be in the ban list from the beginning. Asuya, what do you think? P2P gonna ban?
Um, there are so many. Cannot actually predict what they're going to ban because there's so many heroes and all of them getting buffed. They are pretty good. Although in the previous draft, if you did see that Selena was taken up, and as a counter laugh, peak to Plummet, they decided to go in for something similar. They decided to go in for a Novaria, and like they were too squishy. They did not have enough crowd control, and then, if we do see, especially that R Lord pick in the beginning, he is good. But then Lafukabi, the way they picked up the Link, they picked up the Selena, they had so much mobility, and even the Yuzhong, they were kind of directly nullifying the entire kit of R Lord. Couldn't actually do anything, and he should have maybe gone in for some defense items right there. Because if I did see he had gone in for the War Axe as the first item, so at least he should have, at least thought that since they lack some sustain, some frontlining, maybe going in for some defense could have been a good option for them. But right now, peak to Plummet, banning that Yuzhong, well, he did do an amazing job in the early because it was 2, 3 kills solo. Yuzhong doing such a great job.
Ranger into the ban list again. A respect to Skyzen. That's good again from Lafukabi. They know that they got the confidence right now into their side because they won the first set. Only one more to win, and you are safe. You're be back into the Mythic Showdown. You're not going anywhere. P2P, where if you think they need to win this 2 match if they want to stay in the tournament, if they want to fight in the tournament. So reverse sweep is the only option right now for P2P, whereas Lafukabi sitting in the passenger seat doesn't need to be worried about this match. We'll be worrying about the third match if it goes. But okay, the Kalea would be in the ban list. A respect ban's going on. I mean, pretty respect bans because it was the picks in the last game. So now they're in the ban list. Itami, third ban. A Roger.
Even if a Roger is picked out at this point, I kind of doubt it. It's not because Roger is weak, but for some reason the team are not able to execute him well. One of the reasons can be the early game snowball. if you are able to keep up with the farm with the other gold laner, then Roger can actually work out. But unfortunately, for all of the series we have been like casting around, the Roger is literally a curse. Hopefully, whichever teams they try to prioritize it this time, they will be coming up with that strategy that Roger is able to get a snowball ability first in order to just get the trades for his team. But for now, I'm kind of doubtful with the Roger, honestly. And looks like the bans, the EXP roam priority is apparently there, like excluding the Granger. Because Granger, we have already mentioned, it is one of the signature picks of Skyzen, and he is not getting that hands onto that Granger. So if team pick to Plummet, they will be doing that priority, the gold lane priority, then I guess this time he might be going out with a Moscow instead of Lafukabi having it.
Yeah, but I feel like the first pick from Lafukabi will be a EXP because I think it will be a Uranus maybe coming from them, or Zozo going for Selena again. Okay, I got right. Uranus being in the
Oh.
pick right now by Lafukabi. There you go. And from P2P, I think they will be going with, as you said, a Harith from Skyzen or maybe a Moscow. But Harith, pretty good with him. I mean, I saw him. He is pretty good with the Harith. But as we have mentioned in the previous match, Harith has a nerf right now, so he's pretty counterable with some other MMs around there. Irithel being open will be a threat to pick that Harith from the first pick. Let's see what P2P planning right now, but I hope they go with that Harith pick and Selena maybe this time onto their side.
Well, can be possible.
Moscow.
But right now, we do see Moscow being picked up by Peak to Plummet this time. So if the previous draft Ash, since there was so much like Novaria is a mage who is hard to take down, so Lafukabi just decided take all the heroes who can dive in, who can pick off so easily, and like if one person fails to take someone down, there will be the second one following up, whether it be the SOD, whether it be our Cyan Finchling himself, whether it be the Selena stun. There was so much freedom of movement with Lafu Kabi in their hands in the first game. So right now, Peak to Plummet need to make sure that they at least provide some safety circle to the marksman. Because right in the previous game, if you do see, he was doing 1 versus 2 in the top lane. He was always alone. He didn't get the snowball. He didn't get the goal which a Roger needs. So whichever marksman Peak to Plummet decide to take up, the rest of the team needs to make sure that he gets some space to execute his skills. And right now, once again, Zozo going in for Selena. Once again, we will be seeing those great plays coming from him. And Beatrix onto the goal lane. So, what do you think, Ash? Moscow versus Beatrix.
I feel like it's a big gamble from Lafukabi because Beatrix is some kind of hero who is not having the damage spike in the early game, but in the late game she's insane. Whereas Moskov is someone with the crit build, he has damage all over the time with attack speed build. In the late game, he's a menace too. So it feels like what build he is going on, attack speed or crit. I'm not sure about. I think he will be going with attack speed because it gives you that mobility, and it will be great against CC based heroes, just like Selena being there, Uranus coming on, a Rome will be coming on soon. So it kind of that thing, but I was expecting a Bruno or a 1-1 here against this Moscow, not a Beatrix. And about Zozo, Selena, so guys, in 2020, I remember i7 was compared with RRQ Lemon, and Zozo in 2025 get compared with Sans Super Prince by his son. So let's see how it goes. Again, the Selena walks or not, Lafukabi be in the tournament or not, Kimi in the mid though.
From both of the sides, this time on the second phase of the bans, we are seeing a jungle priority, like jungle bans apparently. The Ling has been banned out, so it was Team Lafukabi with the Ling. Or earlier, he was able to get the farms as well as the kills being secured for his side. It was hard to get a shutdown onto him, and one of the reasons why like it actually excelled was the aggressiveness from him. So I actually wouldn't be surprised if they went out with an assassin composition once again, or maybe they might not be able to, like they might not go out with the assassins, or maybe rely onto the utility. But looking at Peak's draft, I believe they don't have a healer for their side, so they might be trying to gamble it out. They will be trying to go out with an assassin, which can be a Joy actually. Joy can actually work out against a Selena and a Beatrix, but it all depends upon the user.
Yeah, Hilda coming on. I've been seeing her like up to 3 weeks mainly. Haven't seen a Hilda coming on to the draft nowadays. But Invade will be there, so I hope a Bakshia should come here right now from Lafukabi or to the Rome. Okay. Joe picked up nice and Clyde for the Moscow, and the Kimi will be in danger right now with the Joy being thought on to pick to Plummet by Tami. Will be there from Lafukabi right now. A big question is who gonna pick up this Joy? I don't see any CC other than the Hilda. And if you wanna say me talk,
Oh,
okay,
Julian.
this is insane. Nerf one. Okay, I don't want to say anything. My hero got nerfed. I'm not playing this game anymore. So, Asuya, tell Julian, will work or not? I'm damn sure it will not work. Okay, it's not
You know,
working at all.
first of all, I think Peak should have saved the roam or maybe the EXP because, of course, Gadokacha is the flex right there. They should have saved it because in the last game we did see that Ling was there. There was nothing to catch the Ling. In this game, same goes that Hilda has that stun with the ult, with the stacks marks she makes, but then again, Joy can easily just move away. So even in this game, there is nothing who can just restrict this girl right here, this joyful girl which we're seeing dancing around. So yeah, maybe picking up a Franco or a Kaja, just saving that last trick could have been a better option for Peak right now. And I don't know if Julian will work out in this because once again, Team Lafukabi does have a lot of mobility, and I think they were thinking 2 steps ahead, Itami, because when there is just joy, you usually go in for some pickoffs, something like Joe, something like Franco, something like Kaja. So maybe just Lafukabi didn't want them to have it, and they just took up. Okay, meanwhile, look at that damage coming
Oh,
in right from the beginning. The flicker being used up by Moon, a waste, I would say. But then they were trying to invade a Julian.
aggression is definitely there, and one thing about Peak is they have the Hilda for their side against the. So it's not just the Uranus who will be, getting the heals from the damage he has been dished out, like the damage he has been taking on, but it will be the Hilda as well, who will be able to recover a lot of HP by just be staying onto the bushes. But anyways, this time Big Deployment, they are not over engaging onto any team fights, which is the safest choice considering the fact how the game number one went for their side. It was the aggression, and Lafukabi, their draft was really aggressive and they were able to execute it really well. Meanwhile, Zozo, he might be trying to dive in, and the Chao also just dive in, but they don't have the HP this time. And the overextension will be costing them. Two of their members, the Roma as well as Zozo, just goes down. First blood being drawn for the side of Team Peak to Plummet.
That was, I would say, in the previous game, Zozo was doing great because the roamer from the side of Team Peak to Plummet, it was Rufila. She was very squishy. So it was pretty easy for them to invade. But in this game, they need to
Oh, Aizen!
be really, really, oh my god, Aizen doing a solo, taking that kill onto the Uranus. And ladies and gentlemen, even if Uranus has been buffed, that just shows that our wild woman still takes to the top with a lot of damage. And
Yeah.
right now, Lafukabi actually in some issue right there, but meanwhile Joy trying to take down the Hilda.
Oh.
Aizen in a really low HP tries to go inside that bush. The shield does not come in clutch as that was too much of an overextension. Aizen will be traded away. Now the entire focus shifts to the top lane, Itami.
Yeah, and Beatrix, she should be a bit aware of her positioning as well. Chow is actually trying to get visions. Okay, Julian will just be going back. And regarding this Julian pick, if he's able to get the snowballs, then it might actually work. But this time he might be actually deep, and okay, somehow with the sights, he just goes back. The SOD comes up, but the Moscow will not be engaging anytime soon. The Joy is yet to be diving onto those team fights. Skyzen, he is making sure he doesn't go out quite aggressively because the Chow is also there, and he doesn't have a purify skill. He has the mobility, but he doesn't have that cancel kind of a skill set onto him right now. So he needs to be a bit aware of the fact that Chow, he can be just using out the Shunbo and try to catch him.
Well, yes, definitely. Meanwhile, just look at the rotations coming in from both the teams. And it comes the stun from Aizen, still looking to go in for the Joy in a really tight situation. And he will be taken down right before the turtle spawns. Solo trying to do something right there. But Aizen is really hefty, really chunky in the early game. Even Uranus can't do much against him. And in this game, peak to Plummet, showing that how good a good draft how good the good draft's execution can actually help them out. And the taunt coming on to Zozo, uses up the flicker to move away, but it is not enough as Aizen takes another kill onto his hands. Aizen doing an amazing job right now, and with this, Lafukabi will not be able to compete for the turtle. Joy is not looking for it. Even the macro is already onto their hands. The stun connecting in once again. The turtle in the hands of Team Speak to Plummet right there. One more kill as Uranus is not able to stand up against Peak right now. The blue buff getting invaded. The rest of the team coming in, but they just decide to move away right now, looking for some traps in the top lane.
Yeah, and this time, the execution is it's way better compared to the previous game. Okay, Beatrix used out the grenades, but looks like Julian will be trying to engage. The EOTG comes up, but the Chow, he will be forced to use out his flicker. They are trying to engage. Electrifying Beats is yet to be coming up. Charin gets another kill onto his name. They just got the kill. They just go back because it is a kill onto that Uranus once again. Aizen is trying to overcommit onto that team fights. Julian is yet to use his side, and that will be a mega SOD. Will be missing from Skyzen onto two people. It goes right from the middle onto the two people, and looks like Zozo, he is quite low onto the HP as well. A 2-for-0 for the side of Team Peak to Plummet, and looks like Kimmy, she is doing the split pushes as well, almost taking down the tier 2 tower. The minions were not there. If it was there, then definitely it would have been taken down. Lemonade, they are playing those poking games, but the thing is, once the team fights are happening, this time Peak to Plummet is the team that is having the upper hand.
That just shows Atami how good the EXP is making difference in this meta, because in the previous game, Yuzhong took those early kills for the team. There was the snowball in the hands of Team Lafu Kabi, and they did amazing. The aggression was there. In this game, Aizen is the one taking those solo kills onto Uranus. There isn't enough crowd control in the hands of Team Lafu Kabi, or maybe Selena's stance are not actually being connecting to the mage, to the marksman, who actually need to be prioritized, because there is always Aizen and always the Kacha in the front lines being the walls they are. And if we do look at the macro, definitely in the hands of Team Peak, since they do have the snowball, they do have the damage right now, they are doing pretty well. And the next turtle of the game once again coming up. Okay, the stun connecting in from the Moscow, and look at the taunts coming in from Aizen, as well as the Kacha Moon will be taken out. And with that, once again, Peak forcing it through, forcing them to go back, defend. Moscow's damage, he already has a lot of gold, and he is hitting quite hard. The stun connecting in once again. Zozo goes behind the scenes. The stuns onto the Uranus once again will be taken down. He is not able to do anything in this game because he's getting melted down.
Yeah, definitely. And Speak to Plummet, it's only once that one of the members have been fallen down. It was Aizen, and this time it is kind of giving me the deja vu of the first game, but this time the stakes are on Team Peak to Plummet. There is the initiation coming up. Lemonade will just not be going back. Apparently, he just go back this time. His taunt was there. Even if they are trying to engage, the snowball potential is not that. Okay, the way of the dragon comes up onto that Gatot Kacha. He will be forced to use out his AOG. He just goes back, but that was quite a waste of use of a resource. The flicker was also used down. He could have been using onto the mid as well as onto the gold. He tried to dash out he tried to get a kill onto the rumor, but unfortunately it didn't happen. He still had that resource to get back, and this time Peak to Plummet, I guess they will be focusing on to their objectives. That will be a crucial lot coming up into the next few seconds.
Well, definitely, and the Joy, his targets seem to be Kimi as well as our Moscow, but then again, they have a lot of mobility and the pick off onto Eisen, and it just goes away. That was a
Oh.
waste of a resource, if you ask me. The rest of the team connecting in, the SOD, the damage coming in from the Moscow as well as the Kimi is immense right now. Eisen doing the best with the zones, trying to provide the front line. Here comes the Skyzen looking for that engages, looking for that damage from behind the scenes. The sync is perfect, the follow-ups are perfect, the damage is perfect, the goal lead they have it, and the macro they have it. The first lot of the game, I think even that is in the hands of Peak right now.
Definitely. And the Lord has been spawned, so it might be an uncontested Lord unless Joy comes up with a clutch play. She is still trying to engage. Looks, oh my goodness, she just gets bursted down. She did try to engage, but that electrifying beats as well as the initiations were not up to the point. A big risk being taken down from the side of Team Lafu, but unfortunately, it is Team Peak to Plummet once again. They will be securing the Lord, and the map control is definitely better because it's only the inhibitors as well as the S2 tier tower. It is quite low on HP. So if the lane syncing is up to the point, then maybe TP to Plummet they will be trying to end the game as soon as possible. But this time, okay, the Abyssal Arrow will be connecting. But okay, the Way of the Dragon also comes up. AOG has been used out. It doesn't connect onto anybody. Kimi uses the ultimate. They have decided to go back. The SOD comes up from Skyzen. He was trying to stun down. Oh my goodness, the Chow doesn't have the Way of the Dragon this time. Even if Skyzen initiated, they were not able to find those trades. And the Lord has been up. Oh my goodness, Charon was able to get a solo kill onto that Joy, and they were trying to mark onto the base. They just tried to go in. The side being used out. Zozo forced to use out this flicker. The crystal is wide open, and this time Peak to Plummet, they are trying to end the game, and they might actually be able to do so, and that will be it. Team Peak to Plummet comes up with a comeback. 1-1. We are definitely going to be seeing a game number 3. And Ash TZ, are you back? I guess he should be back. Yep.
Come back. I was just flabbergasted by the gameplay from Pick to Plummet. They literally played well in this match, even though they know that this is a do or die set. They literally went good. It's because of you can say the fights. They take the fights in a good way. That's the reason they won this match. And Julian does walks. That's a quite good one I saw. But it's kind of a lame thing to see as well because he is totally nerfed these days. Maybe the reason is I think a chore roam. You should have gone with something else at this moment rather than going with a chore roam because I mean you're going for Moscow or Kimi, it doesn't work. I mean single target based thing doesn't work always, and surprisingly the Uranus was dying for 6 times. I mean Uranus is unkillable, but today he was dying for 6 times, so it's kind of, you can say, poor execution than poor draft. I mean, they went for a good draft, but executed poorly. It's okay. It happens. It's the second set. They were in the passenger seat right now. Match point for both these sides. Do or die for both these sides. It's the game number 3. We are talking about BO3 series kicking off between Lafukabi versus Team Pick to Plummet. And the main thing we're gonna see right now, whoever wins will be staying in the tournament, and whoever lose will be going back. So I mean, right now we are in the tiebreaker. We are in the verge of end, and it could be anything. Lafukabi, Peak to Plummet. It's all in the draft right now. 70%, 80% of the game is being played in the draft. So let's see what 80% will be here today. Yuzong, the first one to be prioritized in the ban list. Asuya.
Well, Peak have understood that the formula for them winning the game is dominating the EXP. Eisen did an amazing job in doing that, and they've been banning Yu Zhang because he absolutely was a force to be reckoned with because he was zoning away the backlines pretty easily. He has, his passive, the buff, it works out pretty good for him. So a good choice for them. And in the previous game, I think as you said, uh, they could have picked up another roam instead for the Joe. But I think Joe was a good option there, considering they really need to go in, take down the Kimi as well as our Moscow, two of the heroes who are actually in a safe distance. But then it hands down to the execution. All we saw Joe using the ults only on Aizen or the Garotkacha. And the The thing was the Joy had to take them down, but there was always the Gatot with the taunts, and then followed up by the stun from the Hilda. She couldn't do anything. And even if she tries to take down the Kimi with the first kill, really hard to track down, really hard to take down with a Joy. So Lafukabi needs to keep these points in mind in this game, and maybe, you know, just go for some anti-draft, maybe playing up against Peak's draft.
You know what? Why I said Cho being a wrong pick at that moment? Because Uranus is something which goes for a support emblem, and we all know that whoever goes with a support emblem, a tank, maybe anyone, have a little bit of squishiness, you can say. Little bit of squishiness. Just like Kalea. You sing Kalea having a little bit of squishiness can be easily take down. And Uranus being something, I mean, he can reason back quickly, but it doesn't work when you doesn't get the early snowball or your team not going great. You don't get that thing. So Cho being there was also a little bit of squishy for them as you have a Joy. Could have gone with it to the back line, but Gatotkacha was taunting you. So you could have gone for something which can taunt the Gatotkacha or somehow take out the Gatotkacha from the fight. A Franco would have been great. It's always been great against a Gato. So maybe that's the reason I said that thing, but it's okay. It's their execution, is their mindset. They went for it, but didn't execute it properly. This time they will do it for sure. And Kimi will be in the ban list, knowing that the Kimi played a major role in the previous set, just like the Moscow did. And the Phobius will also be there as we have said, EXP playing a major role, a potential role nowadays, being the EXP meta going on. The first pick coming out from pick to Plummet. I guess it would be maybe a lot again, or they can go for the, I mean, Lapu Lapu as well.
Lapu actually can be good here because as as you as well as Asuya said, EXP has been quite a priority onto this patch, and if they don't go out with the EXP Lina, it is going definitely going to be a flex pick. And before that, even the mid lane hasn't been prioritized that much, and apparently it is going to be a Gatot Kacha, one of the comfort picks of for the lineup of actual Team Peak to Plummet. They can flex out this role, and we still don't know where this Gatot is going to be heading. Before it was Luminar picking out the Gatot Kacha, and it kind of worked out wonders for their side in terms of taunting the enemy. Like they were able to find out the early game snowballs thanks to that taunts that came up from that Gatot Kacha. So Lafukabi, they do have the two picks priorities. They can go out with a counter draft maybe, or maybe this time Zozo instead of the Selena, he can be going out with something like a Farsa. Farsa can actually be a good choice here. Jushin
Yeah.
can also work out, but the problem with Jushin is he mostly works out against a utility kind of a jungler instead of assassins. And like with a mobility kind of a comp, Jushin is not able to contribute that much onto the team fights. And as we were mentioning the Lapu Lapu, it will be Lafukabi taking it on, and they have taken down they have taken Skyzen's Moskov onto their hands as well.
Now you'll be getting a lot of tongue twisters. Lapu Lapu being at Lafukabi. And Moscow being there again. I mean, we've been seeing that two matches. Whoever getting the Moscow winning the match. So you can cross your fingers, Lafukabi fans, Zozo Glazers. The main Lafukabi win this match. But I feel like Hylos, Farsa, Moscow would have been a great first three picks from Lafukabi, going for a poke burst combo. Then with that, they could have gone with Assassin Jungler, clearing it up, and tanky frontliner EXP who can contribute just like a sustainable wall. Would have been a great choice, but no. Oh, yep. I was expecting this in the previous set when I said that could have gone for a Bruno or could have gone for a 1-1 against a Moscow rather than going with a Roger. And now I'm gonna see a Bruno and a Uranus will be there. That means Gato to the room.
Well, right now we are seeing Uranus in the hands of Peak against Lapu Lapu. This will be quite a match to watch. But then again, Lapu Lapu does have some crowd control onto his hands. Meanwhile, Uranus doesn't. And if he just goes into the front line, I think he will be getting melted down easily by the Moscow. So Uranus needs to make sure that he's not dying quite often, and he's actually being there for the zones, but then he will not be able to zone them perfectly. So maybe staying near the teams can be a good option for him, supporting as well as dishing damage at the same time. But we are seeing the Baksha being picked up. Lafukabi picking up a really strong comp in this game.
Yup, and as Itami said, Farsa could have been a greater choice here, but they didn't went for that. They instead of it, they went for a Basha. I mean, now I don't feel
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't feel like Basha was needed here because you could have gone for some other Fedrin as well, better in this draft. But okay, maybe for to counter the anti-heal of, I mean, to give an anti-heal towards that Uranus, that's maybe the process they are picking up Basha. It's kind of thing that Ling into the ban list is a good way, but now I want to see Pick to Plummet going to ban a mage or they're going to ban some, I mean, jungle here because Bakshia can go for the roam as well, and it's a pretty good roam. It can cover up the map easily, can give a good rotation, invade as well. So let's see if they're gonna go for the mage ban, they will get effect as well because they haven't picked the mage yet.
Mage, yeah, the mid laner is yet to be picked out. Yeah, but the Bakshia, I just hope it's not Kumar number one Bakshia. But anyway, coming back to the point, Estes has been banned out from the side of Team Peak to Plummet. It is actually, a smart choice coming up from the side, but the problem is Rafaela is still active. So instead of the Estes and the Florin, maybe they could have been going out with the Rafaela ban as well. But one doubt about the Bakshia is whether he will be going onto the jungle or onto the roam position. It is still not fixed, and he can be going out with the room with the revitalize too. That can be the option, but we are yet to see the cards being revealed from the side of Team Lafukabi. The mid laner as well as the jungler roam can be the priority. And as I said, I was kind of doubting this, that Bakshia can be going out onto the roam too, and apparently the alpha gets picked down. So an alpha jungle followed by the Bakshia roam.
So the last two bans is a West ban from Pick to Plummet. Doesn't work. The Estes and Florin was wested down. And a lot of mages open right now. Forza maybe the pick from Pick to Plummet at this moment. And they can go for Assassin Jungler as well. Asuyu could have been working great here against Alpha, I feel. So because Alpha is nerf. No, they're going with the Julian. The comfort will be there. They again going with the Julian against Alpha's true damage. Let's see, but an Eve will be there. That's kind of, I mean, that's kind of new for me. I mean, Matilda was open. You could have gone with the Matilda if you're planning for an Eve.
Kagura.
Jojo with the Kagura.
Asuya must be happy. That's one of her heroes.
Well, he's been using her heroes only. I mean, going for Selena and now Kagura. Maybe impressing Asuya, something like that.
She was.
Yeah.
She's no more. Well, if you ask me, I think Eve one of those mages who needs a snowball. Like, she provides a lot of utility, but the damage falls drastically if the snowball isn't there. And Peak's drop, I mean, she will be facing a lot of issues in this game, considering there is a Baksha, considering there's so much tankiness, and even a Lapu who can flicker combo right onto her when she stand alone in that ultimate. So I don't know what Peak was thinking. Maybe just to support the Uranus, they picked up the Eve.
Yeah.
But let's just see what happens. I think they should have gone in for more of maybe a crowd control, a burst mage. Farsa, just like you said, could have been a better option, but here we are in the land of turn. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final game of today, the best of 3 between them. The one who loses will be out of the competition. But you're already seeing, I think, Moon in a very tight situation. The flicker being moved away.
My God, this guy.
Is going in inside the turret, takes the first blood, and the turret's damages the MVP here, although Zozo manages to get that last hit.
Oh, Zozo the goat, 1 second. He gets
Greedy. They
okay.
got greedy, Davi.
Yeah, definitely. They definitely got greedy, and they kind of underestimate the healing potential of the Lapu Lapu as well. That is one of the things that happened. And look at the Bakshia already trying to initiate onto Sky. He is quite deep. He is forced out to use his revitalize, and Skyzen will be going kind of back. He doesn't have the snowball kind of ability right now. That is a broom, so he is heavily like reliant onto those itemizations. Unless he completes like his core items, he will not be able to dish out a lot of damage. But onto the golden phase, he does have the
Oh,
advantage. Baksha just comes up, Kumar, he just dives in, and looks like this time the revitalize once again being used out, but it won't be enough. Leminar goes down onto the process. Julian once again, Charon is trying to dive in, and he gets a kill
oh,
onto that
oh.
alpha. Baksha might be going down as well, and Savage Warrior is able to take down that Bakshia. That will be a good treat for the side of Team Peak to come in.
Well, yeah, there in the mid lane, there was a miss. The miss coming in for them on the Kagura. But Zozo does have the Purify, so not easily targetable. Right now, easy Lord for Peak. And even though they did get the Lord, the gold is almost equal because the kills are also equal. And now they're looking into maybe invade near the red.
Yeah, and initiations might be coming up anytime soon. Is kind of deep. The retribution has been used out. They are still trying to engage onto those team fights, and looks like the engages are around. Bravest fighter comes up, but Lapu won't be able to sustain the damage. RWM is onto the zone, and this time Team P2P, they are coming up with the trades. Oh my goodness, that was a 2-for-2 trade. Actually, Zozo as well as the Bakshia gets a kill, and Uranus is kind of deep. Aizen might be forced to go back. He doesn't have the healings quite much. Oh, he misses the flame shot. Zozo is on flame shot. I just noticed it, and the flicker combo would have been coming up, but I guess he is just going out with the comfort spell. That will be that will be a flame shot. So you never know, Asuya. If Zozo is kind of accurate, he might actually be clutching a lot, or maybe a turtle steel.
Well, that was a quite good gameplay coming in the top because Baksha is kind of a counter for Uranus, especially with his ultimate on. And Uranus, he was maneuvering the skill from Baksha so that it gets wasted and goes for the CD. So yeah, that was a really big brain gameplay coming in from the Uranus. Aizen, as always, doing an amazing job. But right now, both the teams are actually pretty equal. The goal is pretty equal. The kills are pretty equal. Aizen knows that he is the Uranus, he has the heal, so he will be quite in the front lines, quite aggressive right there. But Julian and the Sphere of Alpha onto the Julian, the AOTG dropping down, but Julian still manages to go away. But of course, it is the Zozo doing that clutch plays, grabbing that last hit onto the Julian right before the turtle gonna spawn up. A very bad thing happening for Peak to Plummet right now, and of course, Moscow. I think two of the most hated hero from my side, Itami, is this Moscow as well as this Kadokaja. The amount of stuns and taunts they have, they can completely change the flow of the game. But right now, the team's looking for the turtle dance. Lafu Kabi in an absolute front line there, not letting them near up. And the Sphere of Alpha coming in once again. The damage from Moscow is too much for them to handle. Lemon trying to do some front lining, looking for some passive hits, but then it is Lafu once again not letting them retreat, jumping onto that one person. He will not be the one who will be surviving. Savage Warrior gets taken down, Chunin gets that red, but then once again it is 1 versus 5 in the bot lane. Baksha in a really low HP, and it will be another kill as Aizen will be the next in the chopping block, will be taken down. Lafukabi getting the comeback which they needed.
Yeah, it's trades after trades, blows after blows. Like the fights are going around. The trades are actually equal, but the problem is Moskov. I guess he does has more farm advantage compared to Skyzen right now, and looks like the Spear of Alpha will be coming up. He won't be able to take down the tower. Skyzen is on, and he might just go down onto the process. The bravest fighter comes up, but Skyzen takes a kill onto the Lapu. He just goes down onto the process, taken by the hands of Zozo once again, and the revitalize coming up from the Bakshia. He is trying to do the sustainability play. He might actually be able to escape here, and he does. The revitalize as well as his ultimate just saves him on time.
This is what the goal difference makes you, although it is not much, but still, Baksha is quite tanky in the early. So even Zozo, if you do see his positioning is pretty well, and he's making sure that he pokes people from far away. He makes sure to take down the marksman or any squishy who's trying to escape. So amazing gameplay coming from both the sides right now. Eve, she is doing good with the RWM, but then it's highly conditional if your team is winning in those team fights. Moon wasting a lot of combos right there, but of course Lafukabi does have the upper hand right now. They have an advantage on the macro. Uranus caught up all alone,
Oh,
1 versus 2. Aizen still manages to survive. Okay, doing a great gameplay right there. The next turtle of the game already up. Both the teams looking for a dance once again. Baksha looking to stun away the Gatot. Gatot looking for that taunts onto the Alpha right in the peak. And the RWM using it up once again. And Moscow manages to dash away. That's kind of a waste if you ask me.
yeah, but she was able to clear out that lane and she was able to save her tower. Somehow the Brave Fighter comes up. There is the initiation coming out. AOG.
Oh,
But oh goodness, Lebanon was able to take down that
the
turtle. The taunt right on time. And this time, League to Plummet are coming up with a clutch. They might actually be over engaging. And this time, the Spear of Alpha also comes up. But Alpha gets bursted down onto the process. Julian is trying to engage as well. Skyzen gets the shutdown onto Zozo. They are trying to dive in. A 2-for-0 trade for the side of Team Peak to Plummet. Lemonair with that clutch turtle steal actually was able to find that opening for the side of Team Peak to Plummet that they actually need, and looks like they will be engaging and they will be trying to focus onto that objectives. That will be that tower getting taken down. It is a good start. It might actually be the opening that Team Peak to Plummet needs, and they are trying to prioritize as much objectives as possible.
a lot of to and fro's happening in this game, and this is absolutely why I abhor this Karot Kacha onto the enemy. One taunt and you can't do anything. That's how annoying this guy is. But the RWM coming in, Baksha caught up, taking a lot of damage, and this is to escape away. Alpha and the rest of the team just looking for some supports right there. And at the front, the lead, which was in the hands of Team Lafu, is suddenly shifting in the hands of Team Peak to Plummet. Aizen doing an amazing job. Of course, Aizen and Lemon combo is the one making the plays right there, and Bruno steadily getting their farm. And Moscow, who was dealing a lot of damage in the early, since they are behind the goal right now, so the damage isn't as much as you would expect from them.
Oh, Baksha was trying to dive in maybe, but okay, the dives are not here. And I would actually try to look at the itemizations as well, because maybe Skyzen, the bravest fighter, the Lapu, and he just goes back. They are not over engaging. That is a good choice for the side of Team Lafukabi, considering the fact they were taken. Oh my goodness, Kuta just went out with a combo, but the damage will still not be enough. Peak to Plummet are not over engaging as well without Lemonair. If the taunts are coming up, then maybe they will be trying to find those trades. The Lord has been spawned, and I actually would like to look at the goal difference from the gold laners, because Skyzen, he might actually be able to complete his trinity at this point. The Lord has been spawned. They are trying to contest. Oh my goodness, there is the engage coming around. Skyzen almost getting taken down. The flicker play coming up, and this time they are able to burst down a Moskov. He just goes down with the overextension. Lafukabi completely looping their members. That will be a 4-for-0. Peak to Plummet are so back, and they might actually be able to take down the Lord, and they do. This time, they are playing it out with the discipline. Baksha is quite deep. He might just go back. He is just 1 HP away to be taken down. He somehow escapes. And this time, Lafukabi on a dicey position.
Well, I think Moon, just look at him. He's engaging alone. He's easy to be melted down. He needs to wait up for the backliners. And he's even missing out a lot of his skills, so that needs to be taken care of. Zolo taking down that kill. The Spear of Alpha coming in once again. That might be a potential throw as the SOD connects to the backline, and it will be Savage who will be taken down. Moskov still looking for the skills. Julian all alone, the lone man remaining. One-man army looking for some defenses, looking for his buffs, and Lafukabi successfully defending that Lord, looking for the push from the mid lane. And it might be a hard defense for them, but then it is Lemon once again back into the spawn right there. Low HP. The UTG dropping down, and this is what I was talking about. Too far deep, too much into the enemy territory. One last hit is all that's needed, and but here comes the HP back. That was quite close for the Moscow, but once again, The pendulum is there, Itami, and when we thought Lafukabi was losing, one throw, not waiting for the Lord, Peak threw that game away.
Yeah, whichever team throws hard ends up losing the game at this point, and you never know. It can actually be Pick or it can actually be Tafu. I said what I said, guys. But anyways, coming back to the game, looks like this time Skyzen is almost able to keep up with the goal lead that the Moscow has. The itemizations are quite equal, and it looks like Skyzen he will be requiring 2 more items to complete his full build, and there is the engages coming around. The bravest fight being used out by Moon Knight. He just tried to dive in. Look at Zozo onto the backside. He just gets the kill onto Charin. He tries to go back and he does onto the process. This time, Alpha as well as Team Lafukabi, they are able to find those streets of 4-4-0 once again. And they might actually be trying to focus onto that objective that will be that tower. Looks like Team Lafukabi slowly but surely they are coming back, and the cooldown timers are quite up. The minions are on their. They might actually be able to end the game, Asuya. Oh!
Well, there it comes. The 5-minute assault onto Savage. He will be taken down, and here comes the assault onto the base as it is getting melted down just like a hot knife on butter. The enemy will not be able to respawn back as the victory will be taken away by Team Lafukabi, and with this, it will be them who will be proceeding up ahead in this competition. So, Ash, what do you think of this game? That was quite unexpected from both the sides, right?
It was remarkable performance from Lafukabi. I mean, they didn't just lost that hope. They till the end they fought and they look at that they won the match. It was only the Julian was the difference. I mean, they never take him out from the fight. Whenever they were taking him out, they were winning the fight. And Zozo maybe got that thing and went towards the backside. That was the turning moment I can say because he took out the Julian, then Gato dead. Kaizen's Bruno didn't work, and Eve was the only one to defend the best. So maybe that's the reason they just went for that split push. And Basha was the real hero here. He truly deserved this MVP. I mean, he just went for his sacrifice, you can say, so that they can go for the base. GG win, guys. It's how the thing is. In the end of the day, Tami, what matters is the base.
Yeah, it's the crystal definitely, and the match was quite equal unless Team Lafukabi they came up with the 4-4-0 kind of sweeps.
Yeah.
Pick to Plummet, they had the Lord, and before the Lord, they were swept 4-0. After that, it was kind of tough for them. Somehow they were getting the trades, but the problem was Gatot Kacha was trying to dive onto the backline, but as soon as the engages were going around, Zozo was marking out the damage dealers for the side of Team Peak to Plummet, and it was executed quite well. I was kind of doubting out the Bakshia pick, but it worked out wonders for the side of Team Lafukabi. Actually, it was a Bakshia room, but one thing about Bakshia is even if there are 30 plus heroes that has been adjusted onto this patch, but Bakshia he hasn't got any buffs or nerfs. Before we completely saw him dominating the Land of Dawn, so it is safe to say he is completely usable, and it depends upon the user how well he is able to execute that hero.
Yeah, I mean, if you not run off on a bush where AP Brain hiding,
Yeah, definitely.
you lost the M5. It's okay. He lost the M5. He got the girl, so no worries. But right now, guys, it's time for a wrap up. Obviously, today's 2 game was a pretty good one. I can say the first one it was a 2-0. We can say, but the second game was literally remarkable. Went straight to the last match and went straight to the last minute as well. A time we saw Team Pick to Plummet coming back. Then hope doesn't gone out. The candle lit up, and Moscow did the remarkable walk. So you can say, if Roger Curse is there, Moscow hope is also being there. Whoever took Moscow won the match today, and Lapu Kabi will be into the Mythic Showdown. They are not going anywhere. Sadly, Pick to Plummet has to go. I mean, their journey is over, but I hope they'll be shine somewhere else. They'll be showing their true potential somewhere else, some other tournaments, and they will be rectifying their mistakes. They will be coming back stronger. I know them. I know them. They are a pretty good team. So Hope they will do the best. But Lafukabi, once again, congratulations for being there in the tournament, not going anywhere. Zozo will be shown again and again in Mythic Showdown. But right now, we'll be taking good night, I can say. We'll be going back to our own casual things, our caster things over, the match over. So here we are. Me, host STZ, with caster Itami and Asuya, will be signing off from Mythic Showdown at IGC Indian Gaming Cups. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. Love you all. Good night, everyone. Sabak hai.
ये तारा इनको बहुत ज्यादा दिक्कत देने वाला है। थोड़ा सा फिर से यहाँ पर लौट आएंगे, अंदर जाएंगे परफेक्ट। वाला है, थोड़ा सा फिर से यहाँ पर लौट आएंगे, अंदर जाएंगे, पॉपअप